يا شيخ فهد،
على حياك الله شيخ محمد.
اليوم أنا معك فبعطيك من وقتي، ما عندك مشكلة.
الله يكرمك إن شاء الله، ما تقصر.
القرآن أولى والقراءة.
الله يكرمك شيخ محمد، الله يكرمك.
Okay, is he on?
I'm not sure. I can't see. I don't know why I can't see the. اليوم أنا معك بعطيك من وقتي، ما عندك مشكلة.
الله يكرمك إن شاء الله، ما تقصر.
القرآن أولى والقراءة. نسأل الله تعالى أن يبارك. Yes, he is on now.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.
المعذرة يا شيخ.
لا بأس إن شاء الله. يلا بسم الله.
بسم الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الحج أشهر معلومات، من فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج، وما تفعلوا من خير يعلمه الله، وتزودوا فإن خير الزاد التقوى، واتقون يا أولي الألباب.
شيخ فهد،
على حياك الله شيخ محمد.
معليش اليوم الطريقة اختلفت. تقرأ
أيوة.
مثلا آية والأخ يترجم، عشان المترجم الإشارة الإنجليزي ما يفهم عربي نهائيا، ففي أخ يقرأ من الترجمة يعلم. آية أعيد من البداية. عبد الحكيم.
Yes, I'm ready.
He's reading again from beginning, one ayah by one ayah.
Inshallah.
Okay. السلام عليكم.
الحج أشهر معلومات، فمن فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج، وما تفعلوا من خير يعلمه الله، وتزودوا فإن خير الزاد التقوى، واتقون يا أولي الألباب.
The Hajj, the pilgrimage, is in the well-known lunar year months. So whosoever attends to perform Hajj therein, then he should have no sexual relationships with his wife, nor commit any sins, nor dispute unjustly during the Hajj. And whatever good you do, surely Allah knows it. And take care of your provisions for the journey. But the best provision is taqwa, piety, righteousness. So fear me, O men of understanding.
ليس عليكم جناح أن تبتغوا فضلا من ربكم، فإذا أفضتم من عرفات فاذكروا الله عند المشعر الحرام، واذكروه كما هداكم وإن كنتم من قبله لمن الضالين.
There is no sin on you if you seek the bounty of your Lord during pilgrimage. Then when you leave Arafat, remember Allah by glorifying his praises. And remember him by invoking Allah for all good, as he has guided you, and verily you were before of those who were astray.
ثم أفيضوا من حيث أفاض الناس واستغفروا الله إن الله غفور رحيم.
Then depart from the place whence all of the people departed, and ask Allah for his forgiveness. Truly Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful.
فإذا قضيتم مناسككم فاذكروا الله كذكركم آباءكم أو أشد ذكرا، فمن الناس من يقول ربنا آتنا في الدنيا وما له في الآخرة من خلاق.
So when you have accomplished your rituals, hence doing tawaf around the Kaaba, circling the Kaaba, and visiting the two mountains, remember Allah as you remembered your forefathers, or with far more remembrance. But of mankind there are some who say, Our Lord, give us your bounty in this world, and for such there will be no portion in the hereafter.
ومنهم من يقول ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار.
Those for them there will be allotted a share for what they have earned, and Allah is swift in reckoning.
أولئك لهم نصيب مما كسبوا والله سريع الحساب.
And remember Allah during the appointed days. But whosoever hastens to leave in the 2 days, there is no sin on him. And whosoever stays on, there is no sin on him. But his aim is to do good and to obey Allah. And know that you will surely be gathered to him.
واذكروا الله في أيام معدودات فمن تعجل في يومين فلا إثم عليه ومن تأخر فلا إثم عليه لمن اتقى واتقوا الله واعلموا أنكم إليه تحشرون.
And of mankind there is he whose speech may please you, Muhammad, in this worldly life, and he calls Allah to witness us to that which is in his heart. Yet he is the most quarrelsome of opponents.
ومن الناس من يعجبك قوله في الحياة الدنيا ويشهد الله على ما في قلبه وهو ألد الخصام.
And when he turns away from you, O Muhammad, his effort in this land is to make mischief therein and to destroy the crops and the cattle, and Allah likes not those who cause mischief.
وإذا تولى سعى في الأرض ليفسد فيها ويهلك الحرث والنسل والله لا يحب الفساد.
And when it is said to him, fear Allah, he is then led by arrogance to more crime. So enough for him is hell, and worst indeed is that a place to rest.
وإذا قيل له اتق الله أخذته العزة بالإثم فحسبه جهنم ولبئس المهاد.
And to mankind is he who would sell himself, seeking the pleasure of Allah, and that Allah is full of kindness to his slaves.
ومن الناس من يشري نفسه ابتغاء مرضات الله والله رؤوف بالعباد.
O you who believe, enter perfectly into Islam and follow not the footsteps of Shaitan. Verily, he is to you a plain enemy.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا ادخلوا في السلم كافة ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين.
Then if you slide back after the clear signs have come to you, then know that Allah is Almighty, the All-Wise.
فإن زللتم من بعد ما جاءتكم جاءتكم البينات فاعلموا أن الله عزيز حكيم.
Do they then wait for anything other than Allah should come to them in the shadows of clouds and the angels? Then the case would be already judged, and to Allah return all matters for decision.
هل ينظرون إلا أن يأتيهم الله في ظلل من الغمام والملائكة وقضي الأمر وإلى الله ترجع الأمور.
Ask the children of Israel how many clear signs we gave them, and whoever changes Allah's favor after it has come to them, then surely Allah is severe in punishment.
سل بني إسرائيل كم آتيناهم من آية بينة ومن يبدل نعمة الله من بعد ما جاءته فإن الله شديد العقاب.
Beautified is the life of this world for those who disbelieve, and they mock at those who do believe. But those who obey Allah's orders and keep away from what He has forbidden will be above them on the day of resurrection. And Allah gives to whom He wills without any limit.
زين للذين كفروا الحياة الدنيا ويسخرون من الذين آمنوا والذين اتقوا فوقهم يوم القيامة والله يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب.
Mankind was one community, and Allah sent prophets with glad tidings and warnings, and with them He sent down the scriptures in truth to judge between the people in matters wherein they differed, and only those to whom was given different, to those whom were given different concerning it after clear proofs had come to them.
كان الناس أمة واحدة فبعث الله النبيين مبشرين ومنذرين وأنزل معهم الكتاب بالحق ليحكم بين الناس فيما اختلفوا فيه وما اختلف فيه إلا الذين أوتوه من بعد ما جاءتهم البينات بغيا بينهم فهدى الله الذين آمنوا لما اختلفوا فيه من الحق بإذنه والله يهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم.
Or think that you will enter paradise without such trials that as came to the people before you. They were afflicted with severe poverty and ailments and were shaken that even the messengers and those who believed among them said, when will the help of Allah come? Yes, certainly the help of Allah is near.
أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يأتكم مثل الذين خلوا من قبلكم مستهم البأساء والضراء وزلزلوا حتى يقول الرسول والذين آمنوا معه متى نصر الله ألا إن نصر الله قريب.
They ask you, O Muhammad, what should they spend? Say, spend whatever you spend of good must be for your parents and kindreds and orphans and for the needy and the wayfarer, and whatever you do of good Whatever deeds you do of good, truly Allah knows it well.
يسألونك ماذا ينفقون قل ما أنفقتم من خير فللوالدين والأقربين واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل وما تفعلوا من خير فإن الله به عليم.
Jihad, holy fighting in Allah's name and Allah's cause, is ordained for you, O Muslims, though you dislike it. And it may be that you dislike a thing which is good for you, and it may be that you like a thing which is bad for you. But Allah knows what you do not know.
كتب عليكم القتال وهو كره لكم وعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا وهو خير لكم وعسى أن تحبوا شيئا وهو شر لكم والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون.
They ask you concerning fighting in the sacred months. Say to them, fighting therein is a great transgression, but a greater transgression is with Allah. A greater transgression with Allah is to prevent mankind from following the way of Allah, to disbelieve in Him, to prevent access to the Masjid al-Haram, and to drive out its inhabitants. This is worse than killing, and they will never cease fighting you until they turn back from your religion, if they can. And whoever of you turns back from his religion and dies as a disbeliever, then his deeds will be lost in this life and in the hereafter, and they will be the dwellers of the fire. They will abide therein forever.
يسألونك عن الشهر الحرام قتال فيه قل قتال فيه كبير وصد عن سبيل الله وكفر به والمسجد الحرام وإخراج أهله منه أكبر عند الله والفتنة أكبر من القتل ولا يزالون يقاتلونكم حتى يردوكم عن دينكم إن استطاعوا ومن يرتدد منكم عن دينه فيمت وهو كافر فأولئك حبطت أعمالهم في الدنيا والآخرة وأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون.
Verily, those who have believed and those who have immigrated for Allah's religion and have striven hard in the way of Allah, all these hope for Allah's mercy, and Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful.
إن الذين آمنوا والذين هاجروا وجاهدوا في سبيل الله أولئك يرجون رحمة الله والله غفور رحيم.
They ask you, O Muhammad, concerning alcoholic drink and gambling. Say to them, in them is a great sin and some benefits for men, but the sin of them is greater than the benefit. And they ask you what they ought to spend. Say to them, that which is spare beyond your needs, thus Allah makes clear to you His laws in order that you may give thought.
يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر قل فيهما إثم كبير ومنافع للناس وإثمهما أكبر من نفعهما ويسألونك ماذا ينفقون قل العفو كذلك يبين الله لكم الآيات لعلكم تتفكرون.
in this worldly life and in the hereafter, and they ask you concerning orphans, say to them, the best thing is to work honestly in their property. And if you mix your affairs with theirs, then they are your brothers, and Allah knows him who means mischief. Allah knows the one who means mischief from the one who means good. And if Allah has wished, he could have put you into difficulty. Truly Allah is the Almighty, the All-Wise.
في الدنيا والآخرة ويسألونك عن اليتامى قل إصلاح لهم خير وإن تخالطوهم فإخوانكم والله يعلم المفسد من المصلح ولو شاء الله لأعنتكم إن الله عزيز حكيم.
And do not marry the idolatrous until they believe and worship Allah alone. And indeed, a slave woman who believes is better than a mushrik idolater, even if she pleases you. And give not your daughters in marriage to the mushriks, to those who add association, partnership with Allah, until they believe in Allah. And verily, a believing slave is better than a free idolater, even though he or she may please you. Those mushriks, those idolaters who invite you to the fire, but Allah invites you to paradise and forgiveness by his leave and makes his signs clear mankind, make his signs clear to mankind that they may remember him.
ولا تنكحوا المشركات حتى يؤمن ولأمة مؤمنة خير من مشركة ولو أعجبتكم ولا تنكحوا المشركين حتى يؤمنوا ولعبد مؤمن خير من مشرك ولو أعجبكم أولئك يدعون إلى النار والله يدعو إلى الجنة والمغفرة بإذنه ويبين آياته للناس لعلهم يتذكرون.
They ask you concerning menstruation, a woman's menstrual cycle. Say to them, this is a harmful thing for the husband to have a sexual relation or sexual intercourse with his wife during or while she's on her menses. It is very harmful for the husband. Therefore, keep away from women during their menstrual cycle, and do not go into them until they are purified. And when they have purified themselves, then go into them as Allah has ordained for you. Truly Allah loves those who turn to him in repentance and loves those who purify themselves.
ويسألونك عن المحيض قل هو أذى فاعتزلوا النساء في المحيض ولا تقربوهن حتى يطهرن فإذا تطهرن فأتوهن من حيث أمركم الله إن الله يحب التوابين ويحب المتطهرين.
Your wives are a tilth for you, so go forth to your tilth when or how you will, and send good deeds or ask Allah to bestow pious offspring for your own selves beforehand, and fear Allah and know that you are going to meet him in the hereafter, and give good tidings to the believers.
نساؤكم حرث لكم فأتوا حرثكم أنى شئتم وقدموا لأنفسكم واتقوا الله واعلموا أنكم ملاقوه وبشر المؤمنين.
And make not Allah's name an excuse in your oaths that you make against your doing good and acting piously and making peace among mankind. And Allah is the all-hearer and the all-knower.
ولا تجعلوا الله عرضة لأيمانكم أن تبروا وتتقوا وتصلحوا بين الناس والله سميع عليم.
Allah will not call you to account for that which is unintentional in your oaths that you make, but He will call you to account for that which your hearts have earned, and that Allah is oft forgiving, most forbearing.
لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم ولكن يؤاخذكم بما كسبت قلوبكم والله غفور حليم.
Those who take an oath not to have sexual relationships with their wives must wait for 4 months. Then if they return or if they change their mind during this period, then Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful.
للذين يؤلون من نسائهم تربص 4 أشهر فإن فاءوا فإن الله غفور رحيم.
And if they decide to divorce, then Allah is the all-hearing, the all-knower.
وإن عزموا الطلاق فإن الله سميع عليم.
And divorced women should wait for 3 menstrual months, 3 menstrual cycles, and it is not lawful for them to conceal what Allah has created in their wombs, if they believe in Allah and the last day, and their husbands have the better right to take them back in that period, in the 3-month period, if they wish for reconciliation. And the woman has rights over their husbands as regard to living expenses, similar to those of their husbands over them, to what is reasonable, but men must have a decree of responsibility over them, and Allah is the Almighty, the All-Wise.
والمطلقات يتربصن بأنفسهن 3 قروء ولا يحل لهن أن يكتمن ما خلق الله في أرحامهن إن كن يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر وبعولتهن أحق بردهن في ذلك إن أرادوا إصلاحا ولهن مثل الذي عليهن بالمعروف وللرجال عليهن درجة والله عزيز حكيم.
The divorce is twice. After that, either you retain her on reasonable terms or release her with kindness. And this is not lawful for you men to take back from your wives any of your bridal money given to them at the time of marriage, which you have given to them, except when both parties fear that they will be unable to keep this.
حياك الله شيخ محمد.
يا مرحبا، حياكم الله، جزاك الله خير واحسن الله اليك.
الله يكرمك ان شاء الله يكتب
اجرك. عبد الحكيم, my camera is mute.
Yes, I was going to finish this ayat, but
okay, go ahead, sorry.
Okay. The divorce is twice. After that, either you retain her on unreasonable terms or release her with kindness. And it is not lawful for you to take back from your wives any of your bridal money, which you given by the husband to the wife at the time of marriage, which you have given them. Then if you fear that they would not be able to keep the limits ordained by Allah, then there is no sin on either of them if she gives back the bridal money, what was given to her. These are the limits ordained by Allah, so do not transgress them. And whoever transgresses the limits ordained by Allah, then they are the wrongdoers. جزاك الله خيرا.
وإياك إن شاء الله.
حفظك الله يا شيخ، الله يحفظك ويبارك فيك.
الله يكرمك. أنا أستاذنك يا شيخ محمد وتأذن لي.
طيب الله يحفظك ويجزاك خير ويبارك في عمرك.
الله يكرمك ما تقصر. الله
ما قصرت، الله يبيض وجهك ويعليك
الله
قدرك.
يحفظكم.
شكرا شكرا.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
أكيل.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
عليكم السلام. You can take over.
ما شاء الله. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
حفظكم الله شيخنا. كان الشيخ يبلغ تحياته إليكم. كان يسلم عليكم كثيرا.
شيخ حسن.
أيوة. إله.
ما شاء الله، حفظه الله وبارك فيه، بلغه سلامنا.
آمين إن شاء الله.
والحمد لله الذي جاء بك في أنقذت عبد الحكيم.
الحمد لله.
I can understand that, Sheikh. I can understand a little bit of Arabic, you know.
What did I say? What did I say?
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm going to mute it now.
You understood the smile of Aqil. I said to him, you rescued Abdul Hakim because you came in time. The Quran, you had the translation, but if I speak in Arabic, how are you going to translate? So Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi amma ba'd.
In the name of Allah, may peace and blessings be upon the Messenger of Allah and upon his companions and upon his companions to the day of resurrection. To proceed.
نعم. حديثنا في هذه الليلة هو حول أمر كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يحرص عليه، كما ذكرت أم المؤمنين عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها، وهو أنه صلى الله عليه وسلم كان في فطره له منهج ينبغي علينا أن نتعلمه.
So the topic of today's lecture and discussion is around a matter that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used to persist and he used to adhere to. And it's something that the mother of the believers, Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, she mentioned that it was from the methodology and the way that he would break his fast.
نعم. أولا أصحح، أنا قلت عائشة، لكن الحديث عن أنس ابن مالك رضي الله عنه قال إن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان إذا أفطر بدأ بالتمر.
So the hadith is on the authority of Anas ibn Malik, who said that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, when he would break his fast, he would break it with dates.
وأيضا في الحديث الآخر عن أنس الذي رواه الترمذي أنه قال قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أفطر أحدكم فليفطر على تمر إنه بركة، فإن لم يجد فعلى الماء فإنه طهور.
And in another hadith, also narrated by Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, and reported by Imam at-Tirmidhi, who said that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, when one of you opens their fast, then let them open it with dates, for indeed in this action is barakah, is blessing. And if someone is not able to do so upon dates, then let them open their fast with water, for indeed water is a purification.
وعنه رضي الله عنه عن أنس أيضا أنه قال كما روى الفريابي في كتاب الصيام بسند صحيح، قال ما رأيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قط يصلي حتى يفطر ولو على شربة من ماء.
And also on the authority of Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, and it was reported by Al-Thariyabi in his book of fasting, who said, Anas, who said, I never saw the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, ever pray until he had broken his fast, even if it was with something as small as a sip of water.
وقد جاء من حديث أم المؤمنين عائشة أنه صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يفطر على رطبات، فإن لم تكن رطبات فتمرات، فإن لم تكن تمرات حسوات من ماء.
And on the authority of the mother of the believers, Aisha, who said, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, when he would open his fast, he would do so on the fresh dates, the rutubat, the fresh green dates. And if not upon the fresh green dates, then the dates, which were the tamar, which are the normal brown ones. And if not upon that, then he would open it on water.
والسبب في أن يبدأ المسلم بالفطر برطبات أن الكبد تكون جافة وتحب امتصاص الحلو، فإذا أدخل عليها شيئا يسيرا من رطبات أو تمرات أو حسوات من ماء، واحدة من الثلاث، فإنها تمتص وتتهيأ للعمل، فلا يحدث خلل في المعدة ولا يتعب الإنسان عن أداء الصلاة.
So the reason that we begin, or the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, began his breaking his fast with one of these three things, i.e. the fresh dates, the normal dates, or water, was because during the period of fasting, the kidneys dry up and they might kind of seize a little bit. But having one of these three things, it eases the kidney and it allows it to function well again. Also, having something like this, the dates or the fresh dates, they give an individual energy so they can perform the salah.
وفي الحديث أنه في الحديث الآخر أنه صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يفطر قبل الصلاة.
And in another hadith, it states that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he used to break his fast before the prayer.
وهذا يعني أن الإنسان يفطر على رطبات ثم يذهب إلى الصلاة حتى يتيح للجسم فرصة ليستجمع قواه، فإذا عاد من صلاته أكل من العشاء شيئا ليس بالكثير حتى لا يثقل عن صلاة العشاء والتراويح.
So in the hadith there is an explanation that he would break his fast in this manner, and that is to break the fast upon the fresh dates, which will enable an individual to perform the salah, and then after performing the salah you would have a light meal and you wouldn't eat too heavily so as for it to be difficult for you to perform the Isha prayer, the night prayer.
ولذلك ينبغي للمسلم أن يحرص على الإتيان بهذه السنن عند فطره، وهي أولا التعجيل بالفطر بمجرد الغروب.
So it's upon the Muslim to perform these acts of sunnah, the example of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, when they break their fast. The first of them is to hasten to break the fast as soon as the time comes in to break it.
فكما جاء في الحديث أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إذا أقبل الليل من ها هنا، يعني من المشرق، وأدبر النهار من ها هنا، يعني من المغرب، وغربت الشمس، أفطر الصائم، يعني ذلك الوقت هو وقت وجوب إفطار الصائم.
And the hastening of breaking the fast is due to the hadith of the Prophet, the narration of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, where he said, when the night is coming from here, i.e. the east, and the day is going from there, the west, and the sun has just set, then this is the time when the fasting person breaks their fast.
الأمر الثاني هو أن يكون فطره سابق للصلاة، لا أن يؤخر الفطر إلى ما بعد الصلاة.
The second thing is that an individual's breaking of one's fast or opening of one's fast should come before the prayer, not after it.
والأمر الثالث هو الاقتصار على شيء يسير حتى لا يثقل نفسه في الصلاة.
The third is that when one eats, then they should eat or that when they break their fast, they should do so on something. شيخنا المراد الاقتصار في الإفطار أو العشاء بعد
لا في الإفطار، ما زلنا في
الإفطار أيوة. So someone, when they break their fast, the fast should be broken or opened on a quick bite, something small, something light, so that they don't get lazy in the salah, in the prayer.
فإن أصر إلا أن يأكل شيئا آخر قبل الصلاة إلى جانب التمر فليتجنب الأطعمة ذات الروائح الكريهة.
So if there is something to eat before the salah, then they should leave off doing this, because if they were to do so, then they might get a bad smell from the food and go into the salah, the prayer, in this state.
الأمر الخامس هو أنه إذا عاد من الصلاة وجلس على العشاء أيضا أن يعتدل فلا يأكل كثيرا، لأن وراءه صلاة طويلة وهي صلاة العشاء بالإضافة إلى صلاة التراويح.
And then when they return, the next point, when they return from Salat al-Maghrib and they go to have their meal, then they should not eat too much, because if you eat too much, it will be difficult for you to pray the Isha and to pray the night prayers, because these are long prayers that are ahead of the individual.
ثم إذا صلى صلاة العشاء والتراويح وأراد أن يأكل شيئا يسيرا قبل أن ينام فله ذلك حتى يتقوى به، والأولى أن يكون الإنسان خاصة عند السحور يكون أكله خفيف، وسنأتي عليه في درس قادم بإذن الله على ماذا يتسحر الإنسان. فنسأل الله بمنه وكرمه أن يوفقنا للصيام والقيام، وأن يعيننا على ذلك ويجعله خالصا لوجهه جل وعلا.
The next point is that after they make the Isha Salah and after they have done the night prayers, then they can have something else to eat, so that they can strengthen their bodies and they can replenish their bodies. And what is best, and especially at the suhoor time, the time of the pre-dawn meal, is to eat something light. And we'll explain the manners of eating this in a lesson that follows, if Allah wills. And we ask Allah to accept our salah, our prayers, our standing in the night, and our fasting.
نعم عبد الحكيم، هناك is there any question?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam.
Yes, we have a few questions.
Yeah, Bismillah. I shortened it so that we give time for questions.
Okay. One of the first ones, this question. Okay, I'm just going to read it out and then you can say, you can go ahead. Imam Nawawi and Ibn Taymiyyah believed Qidr is still alive or is alive. Is this a position held by the majority of the scholars?
يقول السائل أن شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية والإمام النووي يعتقدان بأن الخضر صاحب موسى ما زال حيا، فهل هذا يعني صحيح؟ الجواب سواء شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية أو غيره لا يمكن أن يؤخذ كلامه إلا بدليل، فمن عري كلامه عن الدليل رد كائنا من كان، كما قال الإمام مالك رحمه الله تعالى: كل يؤخذ من قوله ويرد إلا صاحب هذا القبر، يعني النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. نعم.
So in response to this question, our Sheikh, may Allah preserve him, said that whether or not Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah or other than him have a statement in this religion of ours, it's not possible for us to take this statement from whoever it is without an evidence from that person. As was said by the Imam Malik, who said, everyone's statement is accepted and rejected except for the person who is in this grave, meaning the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him.
وقد ذكر الإمام الأمين الجكني الشنقيطي صاحب أضواء البيان رحمه الله تعالى القول الفصل في هذه المسألة.
And the Imam Muhammad al-Amin al-Shanqiti, the author of Adwa al-Bayan, which is a very famous explanation of the Quran, he mentioned this matter at great length.
فقال رحمه الله تعالى عند الحديث عن الخضر: وحكايات الصالحين عن الخضر أكثر من أن تحصر.
And he mentioned, when explaining the story of Khidr, he mentioned the stories or the narrations of the people about Khidr are more than can be enumerated.
ودعواهم أنه يحج هو وإلياس كل سنة ويروون عنهما بعض الأدعية، كل ذلك معروف، ومستند القائلين بذلك ضعيف جدا، لأن غالبه حكايات عن بعض من يظن به الصلاح.
And they mention and they have these claims that every year he and Ilyas, the Prophet, they make Hajj of Allah's house, and they mention certain du'as and supplications that they are claimed to say. All of these stories and all of these claims come from sources that are very weak, because they come from people who were good, but they weren't strong in their narration.
وكذلك تأتي من منامات يعني أحلام وأحاديث مرفوعة عن أنس وغيره، وكلها ضعيفة لا تقوم بها الحجة.
And they also seek to substantiate this through dreams that are seen and so-called hadith on the authority of Anas, but none of these have any basis.
ثم قال رحمه الله: والذي يظهر لي رجحانه بالدليل في هذه المسألة أن الخضر ليس بحي بل توفي، وذلك لعدة أدلة.
And the Sheikh Muhammad al-Amin al-Shanqiti said, and what appears as the most correct stance to me in relation to this matter is that Khidr is no longer alive and he died. And the reason that I say this is the strongest opinion is due to a number of factors.
الأول ظاهر عموم قول الله تعالى: وما جعلنا لأحد من قبلك الخلد أفإن مت فهم الخالدون، كما في سورة الأنبياء.
The first, the apparent meaning that comes to mind in the statement, in the general statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and indeed we never gave anyone who came before you, we never gave them eternal life, that they would stay alive. The ayah which is in Surah Al-Anbiya, the chapter of the prophets.
الثاني قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم: اللهم إن تهلك هذه العصابة من أهل الإسلام لا تعبد في الأرض، رواه مسلم.
Subhanallah. The second, the hadith, the narration of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, where he made dua, supplication to Allah, and he said, "Oh Allah, if this group, this small group here before you today, if they were to die and to perish, know that no one will worship you after this."
وفي قوله لا تعبد دليل على أن الخضر ليس بحي وإلا لكان يعبد الله عز وجل.
And in the Prophet's statement, you won't be worshipped if this group were to perish, you won't be worshipped. It indicates that Khidr is no longer alive, because it negates the fact that Khidr worships.
والدليل الثالث إخباره صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه على رأس 100 سنة من الليلة التي تكلم فيها بالحديث لم يبق على وجه الأرض أحد ممن هو عليها تلك الليلة، فلو كان الخضر حيا لما تأخر بعد 100 المذكورة كما قال مسلم بن الحجاج.
And in the hadith of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, there is a narration where he said, "Indeed, on this night, 100 years from this night, none of the people on the face of the earth will be alive." And in this is an indication, as Imam Muslim said, that Khidr will not be alive.
وأيضا فإن عبد الله بن عمر رضي الله عنهما قال صلى بنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ذات ليلة صلاة العشاء في آخر حياته، فلما سلم قام فقال. نعم ترجم.
And on the authority of Abdullah ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with them both, who said, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, led us in the Isha prayer, in the night prayer, towards the end of his life.
فلما سلم قام فقال أرأيتكم ليلتكم هذه فإن على رأس 100 سنة منها لا يبقى ممن هو على ظهر الأرض أحد.
And then after he gave the salam and he finished his prayer, he stood and he said to his companions, "Do you see this night before you now? 100 years after this night, there will not remain a single person who is on the face of the earth today."
قال ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما فوهل الناس في مقالة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم تلك فيما يتحدثون من هذه الأحاديث عن 100 سنة، وإنما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يبقى ممن هو اليوم على ظهر الأرض أحد، يريد بذلك أن ينخرم ذلك القرن، يعني كل القرن يموتون.
So the intent behind the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, in this statement of his, was that the entire people, that entire generation, they would all perish, or will all have perished after 100 years.
ثم أورد الدليل الرابع والأخير مما أورده، قال أن الخضر لو كان حيا إلى زمن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لكان من أتباعه ولنصره وقاتل معه لأنه مبعوث إلى جميع الثقلين الإنس والجن.
And the fourth and final evidence that the Imam uses is the fact that had Khidr been alive at the time of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he would have been from those people who followed him and who answered the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him's call, and he would have fought alongside him. But this did not happen.
والخلاصة يعني انتهى كلام الإمام، أنا أقول كلامي، أقول الخلاصة أن الخضر رجل صالح من الصالحين، ولو كان حيا للزم أن يكون من أتباع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم عن موسى لما رأى عمر بن الخطاب يحمل قطعة من التوراة قال أمتهوكون فيها يا ابن الخطاب، والذي نفسي بيده لو كان موسى حيا ما وسعه إلا اتباعي. أكمل يا شيخ عقيل.
Aywa. And in summary, and this now is the speech of our Sheikh Muhammad al-Maliki, may Allah preserve him, who said that Khidr was a righteous, good man, and he was alive at a certain point. Had he been alive and had he stayed alive, it would have been incumbent upon him to have followed the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, just as the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said about Musa, about Moses. Once when he saw Umar, he had a piece of the Torah, he had some of the Torah with him, and he said, "Oh Umar, متهون أنت شيخنا ماذا قال؟
أمتهوكون أنتم يعني مترددون فيها."
He said, "Are you doubtful about this matter, O Umar ibn al-Khattab? Know that if Moses were alive now, he would have no other recourse than to follow me."
وأيضا في الحديث الآخر أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أخبر أن عيسى عليه السلام ينزل في آخر الزمان، فيأتي جماعة من المسلمين يصلون فيقدمونه إماما فيقول إنما أأتم بإمامكم، وهذا يعني أنه يتبع دين النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And also there is another hadith where the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, explained that Isa, Jesus, alayhi salam, may peace be upon him, he will come down at the end of time and he will come to a congregation who are about to pray, and they will put him forward to pray. But Isa will refuse to do that, and he will say, "Indeed, I will pray behind your Imam, behind the one who leads you in prayer," which shows that when he comes and he comes back, he will follow the legislation of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him.
ولعل الوقت قد ضاق بكم لأنكم بانتظار الإفطار، أليس كذلك شيخ عقيل؟
أيوة شيخنا أكرمكم الله.
طيب إذا ننهي هنا، وإن شاء الله نلتقي في الغد مع لقاء آخر مع الشيخ الدكتور حسين ابن غازي التويجري بإذن الله تعالى، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نعم.
We have just a few more questions if you got time.
I got time, but you don't have time. It's time for iftar.
We've got a few minutes, but we've got quite a few questions.
عقيل نعم. هل تستطيع؟
أيوة أستطيع الحمد لله.
يلا بسم الله. Okay guys, when you say stop, we stop.
Okay, but if we can shorten the answers a bit because we got
no problem. If the answer can be shortened, some answers are very critical.
True. Inshallah.
يلا بسم الله.
Okay, there's another question that says when we eat halal meat, like for example chicken and meat and what, the bones that are left, is it halal to throw the bones away in the bin?
يقول السائل إذا أكلنا طعاما لحما حلالا، لحم خرفان، لحم دجاج، أي لحم حلال، هل من المباح أن نلقي بالعظام في سلات الزبالة؟ الأفضل أن تلقى في أماكن يعني مفتوحة، لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أن الله عز وجل يعيدها أوفر ما تكون لحما لإخوانكم من الجن. لكن إن ألقيت في الزبالة فلا حرج، لأن هذا لا يعني أنهم لا يستطيعون الوصول إليها، فإننا نرى القطط تصل إلى الزبالة، فمن باب أولى أن الجن يصلون إلى الزبالة، والله أعلم.
So our Sheikh, may Allah preserve him, said the best is that these bones are to be left in an open place, because it's been authentically related that Allah, on the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he makes this food, these bones, a means of food for the jinn, for the other type of creation. So it's better to leave these things in an open space. However, there isn't a problem in throwing them in the bin, because it might be possible that the jinn can get the food even when it's in that state or in that place.
Okay, Jazakallah. Another question is the Sufis use the instance of the Ethiopian dancing called raqs or something like this in the Masjid Nawawi during the Prophet's Prophet Muhammad's time. How should I respond? Shall I read it again?
لا قدك وش يقول أن الصوفية يأخذون حادثة لعب الحبشة في المسجد في زمن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كدليل لجواز لعبهم يعني رقصهم وكذا. الجواب أولا إذا كانوا هم الحبشة فليفعلوا لكنهم ليسوا الحبشة الذين جاءوا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Yeah, so in response to this question, the first point is that if they are Habasha, then they should do it as well, as was done at that time.
الأمر الثاني هو أن الذين لعبوا هم الحبشة وهم أجناد جاءوا من الحبشة فأرادوا أن يروا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بأسهم وقوتهم فلعبوا لعبة الحرب لأن الناس كانت إذا اجتمع الجيوش للقتال وقفوا صفين وقامت كل فرقة باستعراض يعني يلعبون لعبة باستعراض حتى يظهروا القوة التي عندهم وليس لعبا تعبديا كما يصنع الصوفية في المساجد.
The second point is that when these people were making these movements, these people, they were from the army of the Abyssinia, of Habasha. And what they wanted to do, because they were army people, they wanted the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, to see their physical strength. So what the people would do at that time, they would line up against one another and they would play these kinds of games to show their physical strength and their prowess. So their movements weren't movements of worship, rather they were to show their strength.
الثالث أن الصوفية حين يلعبون هم يلعبون تعبدا وتقربا ولو كان الرقص تعبدا لشارك النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الحبشة ولشارك أبو بكر وعمر الحبشة لكنهم لم يفعلوا لأن هذا ليس تعبدا بل هذا من الميوعة الذي يفعله الصوفية إنما هو من الميوعة وعدم الرجولة فإن الرجولة أن يلعبوا لعب الجيوش عند القتال لا أن يلعبوا في أوقات السلم هذه الألعاب ويقولون نتقرب بها إلى الله.
The third point is that the Sufis, the ascetics, so-called ascetics, they use this as an act of worship. And had this actually been an act of worship, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he would have joined the Abyssinians in doing this himself. And also Abu Bakr would have joined them. And Umar, may Allah have mercy upon them both, he would have joined them. And in reality, what they are doing, the Sufis with their games and with their dancing, this is something that negates masculinity. You find that the Abyssinians, when they were doing it as a show of strength and as a masculine act, whereas these games that the Sufis play is not the same.
نعم والله أعلم.
Okay, Jazakallah. Akil, how long you got left?
Go on, I'm with you, inshallah.
Okay, Jazakallah. Is it halal to watch the Omar series where they portray everybody except for the Prophet and his wives? I think it's a series on TV, like a TV show, I think. Asking if it's permissible to watch.
يقول السائل هل يجوز أن نشاهد مسلسلات دينية كالتي يعرض فيها السيرة النبوية وسيرة الصحابة؟ الجواب أن التمثيل أولا قائم على الكذب. نعم.
So firstly, in response to this, we'll say that acting in a general sense its foundation is upon lying.
ثانيا أن شخصية النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم والصحابة هي أعلى شخصيات في الأمة، فلا يجوز أن يعني أجمع العلماء بعدم جواز تقمصها من قبل الآخرين.
تقمصها يعني تمثيلها،
يعني
تصويرها.
القيام بدورها كأنه هو.
So the second point is that the personality of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and his companions, may Allah be pleased with them. These are the most incredible personalities of the creation that have ever existed. So the scholars are unanimous in saying that it's not permissible to depict them or act them out in any sort of way.
ثالثا أن هؤلاء الممثلين في الغالب من أسوأ الفساق، يظهرون في مسلسلات يتعاطون الخمر، ويعني يمثلون مع نساء متبرجات ويفعلون أفعال مشينة، ثم يأتون فيمثلون أدوار أفضل البشرية. النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وصحابته هم أفضل البشرية بعد الأنبياء، فيمثلون أدوارهم أو يمثلون أدوار الأنبياء موسى وعيسى وإبراهيم وغيرهم ويوسف، فهذا كله لا يليق ولا يجوز.
So thirdly, you'll find that these actors who play these parts of the companions, etc., that in reality they're from the most evil of people who do the most despicable things in their lives. They partake in alcohol, they act with freely with women who are scantily clad, and they're generally evildoers. And yet they go forward and then they act as though they are the Prophet and his companions, peace and blessings be upon him. And these were the best people, the companions after the prophets, they were the best people on the face of the earth.
قلنا كذلك يمثلون دور موسى وعيسى ويوسف.
And they also they depict the prophets as well. They depict Isa, Jesus, and Moses, and other than them from the prophets.
وأعود للنقطة الأولى وهي الكذب. من أين لهم كل تفاصيل القصة؟ معلوم أن التاريخ لا يحفظ كل شيء بالتفاصيل، ومعلوم أن أصحاب كما يسمونه السيناريو يضيفون أضعاف ما يجدون في التاريخ، وهذا كذب صراح.
And we return to the first point where we said that acting is based upon lying and falsehood, that we should ask the question, where do they get the details for all of these events that so-called took place? And you'll find that these nuances and the intricacies of the scenes that they depict, these are from the director and these are from the producer.
نعم والله أعلم.
And Allah knows best.
Jazakallah. I'll try and round up because there's a few questions, but we'll answer these few and then we'll leave the rest for tomorrow, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah.
Another question is,
أخيرا أنا أنصح الجميع أن يستغل الوقت بدل أن ينظر في الأفلام، يقرأ القرآن. هذا الشهر بالذات هو شهر القرآن لا غير. يقرأ القرآن، يستمع للقرآن أفضل له، يقرأ ترجمة المعاني، وأيضا هي موجودة مسجلة بالصوت ترجمة معاني القرآن سواء بالإنجليزية أو بلغات أخرى، وإن شاء الله يكون بلغة الإشارة كما يفعل الإخوة في جمعية الصم البريطانية. الآن يعني يجعلون هذا في الموقع بإذن الله ليستفيد الصم من القرآن الكريم. نفعني الله وإياكم بما فيه وجعله شفيعا لنا. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Amen. And in addition to what's just been said, the Sheikh said that he gives us the advice of not watching these series. Rather, we should utilize our time in a better way, reciting the Quran, listening to the Quran, and benefiting from the Quran in the month of Ramadan. And we can listen to it, we can read the interpretation of the meanings of the Quran so we can benefit from it. And also the brothers who are heading the Islam for Deaf in the UK, they're doing some excellent work where they're getting the Quran's meanings translated into sign language, and it will be put up on the website. So it's something that we can all benefit from. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us and give us the understanding of the Quran.
Ameen, ameen,
جزاك
ameen.
الله خير يا أستاذ زكي، وأنت أستاذ عقيل جزاكم الله خير. عبد الحكيم, thank you very much. Tom, thank you very much. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.